What is the universally known awkward moment? Oh god, there was one time where this guy was selling these granola bars, which I didn't know about initially, and he sat on a seat next to me asking me something in a soft voice. I pulled down my headphones and asked him to repeat like 2 times and then gave up by saying yeah. Then he gave me a granola bar and I thanked him and pretended to do homework, but he kept waiting for me to pay or not until I figured out what he was doing by reading the note he handed me. It's awkward even describing this situation. Not my strongest moment in college. This brings back memories. While in my freshman orientation at college, a chick I went to high school with but never spoke to because I was very shy and she was super hot and out of my league, was walking towards me from about 50 yards away while a guy I've never seen before was chatting her ear off. She waves at someone in my direction, but since we have never spoke and I figured she didn't even recognize me and was waving at someone behind me. So I turn around and see no one, then turn back to them and point to myself and mouth the words me. After analyzing the situation for the past 12 years, I've come to the conclusion that she was in fact waving at me, in an effort to get me to start talking to her so she could shut down the other probably annoying guy who kept buzzing in her ear. The cringe is still fresh in my mind. There was a typhoon ages ago from a woman who was handing in a final exam and wanted to say a few words to her professor since she really enjoyed the class and thought the two of them had great rapport that semester. After they chatted a bit, the professor reaches an arm out and this woman reaches in for a hug. Except it wasn't supposed to be a hug. The professor was just reaching past her to grab the next person's final. Having someone hold the door for you 30 feet away, making you run awkwardly just to let them go. Enjoy your meal. You too. Having to poop with people in the stalls next to you. And knowing you both are waiting for the other one to leave so you can poop in peace. Involuntary erections as a teenager, especially when you are in a bathing suit and can't hide it. I'm a male teacher and I get called mom sometimes. The weirdest was a girl who would constantly call me dad on purpose, then pretend she did it by accident. I'm left-handed so I naturally lean to my left for kisses and hugs. Unfortunately, most people lean to their right. I've accidentally almost kissed many people because of this minor faux pas. I try to remember myself, but if I'm relaxed around the person then I usually forget. The worst is when I hug another woman at church. They always look at me like I'm a lesbian trying to kiss them. No, I'm a straight woman who's left-oriented in a right-dominant world. In college I was riding my bike slow across campus, and I saw somebody putting on an amateur Shakespeare production for a semi-large crowd. I was so absorbed in people watching, that I didn't notice I was about to head down a shallow staircase. I eventually crashed at the bottom, but it took me a full 30 seconds of oops. Got my balance back, oops, lost it again, over and over. By the end the entire crowd was watching, and when I finally landed, one of the actors yelled, "Art thou alright?" Slow motion accidents in front of large crowds are a pretty universally known awkward moment. When you have to scratch your balls because they're really itchy, but you can't because you're in public and people will assume you're a pervert, even though your urge to scratch is not sexual at all. So you just stand there with an itch that tortures you. Oh god, I had a similar thing like this happen to me in 6th grade. We had a substitute for social studies class who was also the language arts reading teacher for half of our grade. I never had her, I had the other LA/reading teacher, so I didn't know what kind of teacher she was. So in class, I went to scratch the side of my nose and she literally points at me and shouts, "Why are you picking your nose?" The class starts laughing at me and I feel so ashamed for her calling me out. She told me I had to go to the bathroom to wash my hands, immediately to prevent germ spreading. So I did a walk of shame out of the class. I was so embarrassed because I was most certainly not digging for gold. I ended up hating her and hoping I would never have her as a teacher, while every other student loved her because she was funny and pulled pranks. I had no idea and I thought she was being serious. My friends tell me it was only a joke and she likes to call out students even if they aren't doing anything wrong. To this day, I still want an apology. When you're talking to someone and feel a little bit of their spit land on your cheek, but you have to be polite and not wipe it off. You know it happened, and they know it happened. And they know you know it happened. But you still just stand there, nodding, with their spit on your face. When you're talking to someone in a loud room, so you're speaking very loud too, then suddenly everyone gets quiet and can hear you as you finish your sentence. Bonus awkward points if you're saying something that is, or can be construed as inappropriate.